I messed up the lighting for this entire video. Anyway. Hey guys, it's Allie, and today's video, I'm going to be doing a video I've been requested to do multiple times, and that is a girl talk video, or videos having to do with girl-related subjects. I have a notebook here so that I don't get like sidetracked too much. The only way I will actually drink water is if I put in one of these cute little cups. Fun fact. Anyways, so I'm just gonna jump right into these questions. If you are someone who's like triggered by this kind of subject, like you're not comfortable with it, you don't have to be here watching it. Like you can click off. But yeah, I just want to help my girlies out here who have asked me some questions. I like really liked like my period video, like my day in the life on my period. I'm going to start out here with, when did you start your first period? I was debating on doing a story time of my first period. I'm just gonna tell the whole story now. So I started my period when I was 11 years old, and it was on Easter Sunday, and I was in the car in my new Easter Sunday dress, because we get dresses, like me and all my sisters get dresses for every Easter and every Christmas. And so we had dresses for Easter on. I was like in this pink floral dress. We're just driving to church. We get to the parking lot and it feels like I'm just like uncontrollably peeing my pants. I was like, what was that? Of course I was like, I need to get to a bathroom right now. So I ran into a bathroom as soon as we got into the building. My mom was conducting the choir for the church, and so she couldn't help me because she was practicing. We're gonna like perform in the church meeting. Now look what's going on down there, and it's blood. And my older sister had not started her period yet, and she's 4 years older than me, so I was very confused why I started before her. I just like was not expecting it. I didn't have my mom there to help me, so basically I just like ran out to my sister and I was like, I started my period, and she was all surprised too. She takes me to my dad and we asked like, hey, can we get a ride home? She started her period, and he drove me home so fast, like as if I was in labor. Like going to a hospital or something. Like he drove really fast. It was kind of funny. We get to the house and my sister showed me where the pads were. Then I just went back to church and we went through the church meeting. Luckily it didn't bleed through onto my dress, thank goodness. And I just told my mom as she sat down with us after like conducting choir, I think is when I told her. That's my first period story. But the thing is, like, I didn't really start having really bad period symptoms till later on. Like when I got a bit older, that's when my period started getting really bad. And that leads me into the next topics that I've been asked to talk on is struggling with periods. They can really suck. I've had some really rough experiences around my period. Gone so nauseous, I've like been just constantly gagging over the toilet. It messes up my digestion. If you know what I mean, you know what I mean. I feel like those are pretty common symptoms, but it got like really bad to the point where like I would stop eating because I just didn't have an appetite because I was just gagging on everything, and I would get really lightheaded and start to feel faint a lot. Went and got me tested at one point for a bunch of like blood disorders. A little story time. I was really sick on my period. Like I had been going home from school early because the cramps were so bad. It felt like I couldn't move sometimes, and I was just so dizzy and out of it. Went to get tested for some blood disorders, so they drew my blood, and they drew a lot of blood, and I had been losing blood like crazy, both like from my period, but also I had been having bloody noses like every single day at that point, and like really heavy ones that I wouldn't stop for a while. That was another reason why they tested me for a blood disorder, because I was having such heavy periods and I was having such heavy nosebleeds. They drew my blood and I was so sick already, I just passed out. I've never had issues with drawing blood before that. I always would like watch them and I'd be like, oh, like, ooh, that's cool. I used to want to be a phlebotomist because I enjoyed watching people draw blood. That's a little weird now that I'm saying that out loud, but I thought it was fascinating, and so I was like, hey, I want to do that. Until this happened. I passed out and I started like sliding out of the chair, and they caught me like putting me back in the chair. I woke up, I was like, where am I? I see just all these nurses around me, and like I have an ice pack on my neck and on my head, and laid me back, and they're just like trying to talk to me. I immediately go, I'm gonna throw up. Threw up. in the hospital as well. That was not a nice experience, and now I'm terrified of getting my blood drawn, but that's besides the point. The point is, periods got to be really bad and really heavy. They last for like a week, like a full week. No, it was more than a week. It was more than a week of just straight really heavy bleeding, and it was like really bad. So I know struggles with periods are very real. What's helped for me recently is, like most recently, is AllyyA. Instead of doing ibuprofen, has helped with my symptoms more, and my doctor recommended it, so I started like taking that, and it's really helped. That brings me into my birth control journey. Okay, it hasn't been much of a journey because it's been very short so far. Before I say any of this, I get that some people have very strong opinions against birth control. Whatever you feel on it, like, this is just my personal opinion. And my personal opinion based on my experience is that it's helped me. I'm really hoping that what I'm on, like what I've been doing right now, keeps working so that I don't have to switch it again, because I don't want to go to the next options. Periods were like really bad, really heavy, and they were like, well, maybe you have endometriosis, but they didn't want to go in and check and like remove stuff because they were like, that's something you do when you're a bit older. So for now, like, you can go on birth control. I'm not on birth control because I'm doing some sus naughty stuff. I'm on it for my periods and just my periods and how sick they made me. I took pills for about a year and they worked really well for a while. Like, they really made my periods so much more manageable. Periods got really bad again. I switched over, went on to patches. That's why I'm on right now. I keep them on the back of my shoulders. Can usually like keep them like around your lower stomach, you know. That for some reason caused me to have cramping down there, so I started putting them on the back of my shoulders, and that's worked a lot better. Patches have been helping. Like, my periods are a lot shorter, way less heavy, manageable in that way, but I still get really bad cramps. So how to use a tampon. Oh, I was gonna go grab one actually. One second. It's for educational purposes. So this is a tampon. This is what it looks like. This is like the applicator, and then the tampon's inside of the applicator. This feels so weird being on camera talking about this, but so what you're gonna do is, this kind of tampon is like very smooth, like plasticky, and you pull until it clicks with this kind. So you heard that click, and then that means it's ready to be put in. Do I use my hand? Put it in. You're gonna push this. So you're gonna put it all the way in, and you're gonna push this, and it's going to push the tampon out. Like so. And then it's gonna be in, and you just remove the applicator. And then it should be good to go if you put it in right. It's gonna expand inside of you. And then to take it out, you just pull the string. I know tampons can be like extremely scary for for the first time using one. It was definitely very scary to me my first time. There's really no reason to be scared. Like, you think like, how does that work? Like, when you've never put one in or anything like that, a lot of people will be like, well, it's not gonna go up. How do I say this without being like, here? It's not as scary as you think it is your first time. Like, a lot of people are very scared their first time putting one in. It's not as scary as you think. And I promise it does go in. And it will not hurt if you use it correctly. For a while, I was not putting mine in correctly when I first started using tampons, and it was very uncomfortable. If you put it in correctly, and you should feel if it's correct. Like, you will know if it's not correct because you will feel uncomfortable. You will feel it, like, it'll be uncomfortable. Oh, I forgot to mention with tampons though. Remember, there is a time limit that you should have one in, okay? Even if you haven't like bled through yet, once you get to 8 hours, you should take them out. Like, you're more likely to have toxin shock syndrome. What day of your period is the best to have a tampon in? So the best day to have a tampon in for me personally is any day after my second day. My second day of my period personally is very heavy, so I would just say like maybe not on the heaviest day of your period if you are like really heavy on that day, because some people's periods are like lighter and they can use tampons well, like they can just use these and be fine. But other girls, like how I was and how I am on my second day, like tampons don't last that long. Bleeding's so heavy. What works for me now that I'm on birth control and stuff, and like it's getting a bit better and more manageable, what I do now is any day after my second day of my period is pretty light and easier to use. This one is not related to like a period or anything, but it is something I feel like a bunch of people do struggle with, and it's something I was requested to answer this question. So, how to make friends in high school. In the past, making friends for me has been very easy just because I was like very outgoing and very like involved, and I just was constantly like, hey, want to hang out? Hey, want to hang out? If you want to be more included, more social, if you want to have more friends, like sometimes you really just need to be the initiator of things, and then you will get more friends and get closer to people because you're the one being like, hey, want to hang out, and then that's allowing you to get closer to the person and make friends. Don't be scared to like reach out and talk to people and stuff. But what I was gonna go to from this is I have personally had a lot of social struggles recently. For those of you who don't know, I do have OCD and anxiety, and it got to a really hard point in my life where like I just was too scared to even go to school because of it, and I was refusing to go to school. It felt too overwhelming. I felt like I could not, and so it got to the point where it's like crippling, like it was really bad. And so I went to a treatment center, but that treatment center took 3 hours every single day except for Saturday and Sunday. Every single day of the week except for Saturday and Sunday. 3 hours every day right after school. I just didn't have a lot of time, it felt like, to really reach out to people. Also was like, because of my anxiety and OCD getting so bad, I had distanced myself from people, and that made it hard to like keep my friends around because I wasn't really talking to them anymore. I was kind of avoiding being social altogether. It's been really hard. I'll admit it's been really hard getting back into like trying to make friends again and like reconnect with people. But what's been helping me, and what would probably help you if you're struggling with this, is be the initiator. So like initiate hangouts, initiate conversation, approach people, you know, if you want to be their friend, approach them. Another thing that has been very big for me, that has really changed things for me recently, is positive self-talk and self-love, and that builds up to confidence in yourself, and it makes it easier to go initiate things. It makes it easier to open yourself up to making new friends. Find yourself that just because maybe so-and-so doesn't want to hang out with you, like that doesn't affect your self-worth, or just because you are scared of talking to this person, like that doesn't affect your self-worth, and that will help you be able to reach out more. And just remember, a lot of people are in the same boat as you. Like a lot of people do struggle with making friends in high school or junior high or any school really. Like it seems like a lot of the time only the people who are really close to me really think that I'm struggling with this, but I have been really struggling with this. You're not alone in that, and it could be pretty hard at times, but just go for it and love yourself. Just work on loving yourself and being confident enough to like be your own best friend, and then reach out and make more friends. So I hope that helps a bit. The lighting like really weird on my face this whole video. Boys, that's the next one. My biggest tips with guys is keep your self-respect and keep your self-love, and put that first. Make sure you're staying like safe and comfortable. You need to make sure that your mental health, your physical health, your self-love and respect come first, and then you can move on to helping build someone else up in a relationship. Easy to like lose yourself in them and rely your self-worth and self-love on how this other person feels about you. Make sure you love yourself, respect yourself, and also if you are not finding a boyfriend right now, don't stress it. Like timing is different for everyone, and just because a boy might not like be trying to be your boyfriend right now, that does not mean that guys don't like you or that you never find the one, you know? Like But make sure you love yourself and make sure you respect yourself. And this is the last question. It is how to deal with cramps. I would say heat really helps, putting pressure and heat. So sometimes I'll just like have my hands down here, like on my lower stomach, uterus area, you know, and I'll just kind of pressure. If I'm in class or something, sometimes I'll just put my arms there, my hands there, and kind of pressure. Take stuff like Tylenol, ibuprofen, AllyyA. And some people, this doesn't work for everyone, I know, because it doesn't work very well for me, but some people, like, it really helps to get like active, moving, exercise, working out, stuff like that. Personally, that has not worked the best for me in the past. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't, but for some people that does work. I don't know which lighting's better. I think this one. Yeah, there's also something I found out about, and my mom went and got some for me and my sisters. It's these stick to your underwear, and so you put it on the side of the front of your underwear, so it's pushing up against like where the cramps are, and it's like a hand warmer kind of, where it just heats up and then keeps heating, you know, keeps heat going. It's nice because you can just have a heat pack on you at all times and not have to actually have like a heat pack sitting out on top of you, because obviously in class you don't want to bring like your heated stuffed animal. Maybe you do. If you want to do that, you go girl, do you. But I think most of us, it's more of like we want to keep it subtle. It really has helped me. It just presses up against your stomach and helps with cramps. And that is all for this video. If you guys enjoyed it or found it helpful, do give it a thumbs up and make sure you subscribe, and thank you so much for watching. I hope I helped a bit. Like, I really hope I helped with these questions. And if you all want me to do any videos related to this again, you can let me know. If you do want me to do a video like this again, you can let me know in the comments. And if they're turned off right now, you can come back in a bit and they'll probably be turned back on. I'll see you in my next video. Bye. That was like a major voice crack, wasn't it?